look, all the Jungle Book stuff is still here. Oh, how fascinating. Oh, that challenge is still going on? The one that I don't give a shit about because it's... Oh my god, so many wins. Still 4 away. We did get the cool bottom. Smoke bottom. Smoke bottom's pretty cool. Okay, that one's kind of cute. Don't care about the cost. I know I have more than enough money to afford it, but I don't give a shit. Hatchling, whatever. Making a splash. No, we're still dedicated donut. Nothing has changed. I think we're just working in squad shows for the moment. So yeah, tonight we're actually starting at 9. Normally we start at 11, 1 a.m., 9 next day. Actually, we normally start at, like, even on Saturday, we start at like 10. But nope, today we're starting at 9. Yay? Question mark? Ooh. I don't know. We only have 3 stories in a WIBE tonight, so it's a very small show. We'll still probably go for 3 fucking hours, because admittedly that PlayStation conference was pretty decent, pretty big. But yeah, it's a pretty fine. It's gonna be a very simple show. Yeah, let's Fall Guys it, shall we? So yeah, still busy, still just so even with an extra day off, because you know I got Labor Day off. College is still keeping me busy, man. Oh my gosh. But other than that, I'm doing fine. I guess this is my life now. Yeah, it's not that bad. Just tired. Like, it's gonna be nice to go to bed before, like, 2 a.m. tonight. Hopefully. Maybe. I don't know, I have a fucking book to read, and I have some paperwork to fill out that I'm gonna do tomorrow. So I have some busy stuff, but yeah, I got a book to read. I've still got... It's a short book. It's only like... Let's see here. It's 64 pages. Yeah, it's like a short story. I don't know, the pages are pretty big. Like, the text is pretty small. And I'm... 33 in? Yeah, I'm on page 33. So I gotta do that tonight. Or tomorrow, and... I don't know. And then how long is this other book? Oh, this one's even shorter. This one's only 44 pages. Okay, good, we did qualify. I'm barely paying attention. Oh my god. Just looking at this book. Okay, I'll look at that later. I got a busy day. I've got a very busy weekend. Also, my arm hurts. I went bowling. Bowled 5 games. And at first my back hurt, because you know you're using up all your muscles, But now, and like, but then like after like I rested for just a little bit, it was fine. But now like the next day, my back hurts. Or my back, my arm hurts now. And yeah. I mean, God, picking up and throwing a 14-pound ball, 50 times 2, that's over 100 times. Yeah, I don't think I ever bowled a strike or a spare on the final round, so it would be 50. Oh, shit. I needed to jump a little later. Yeah, it was fun. I did not do that great. I think my first game, I pulled like 7 zeros in a, right, whatever, like 7 straight zeros. So, like, I did not hit a single pen for the first 7 frames. And then, like, I recovered at the end. Like, once because this is the first time I've been bowling in 2 years. So, it's been a while. Hey, Poogie, how you doing? Good to see you. It has been a while, hasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, I started early for once, which hasn't happened in a long time either. Probably since, what, April? That's funny. But yeah, my first game goes terrible. I bowl, I think I got like a 30. School's been kicking my butt. Same here. Okay, admittedly, school's not been kicking my butt. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot, and it's tiring. It's just a lot. I mean, I'm in class from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. depending on the day. Some days I get out a little bit earlier, but most of the time, but at least twice a week, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And it's not all, like, there are breaks in there, but it's still pretty, it's a lot. Yeah, so the one time, and part of the whole reason I went bowling to begin with, what the, come on, what the shit, okay, there we go, is because I had class let out early, and I was driving back from university, and I saw that the bowling alley was completely empty. Like, there were 3 people there, 4 including me. So I was like, yep, I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna go in and bowl. And yeah, first game went terrible, and then each subsequent game went a little better. Like, as I started going more, like, as I started playing more and more, even though my back started hurting more, I got better, because, like, I remembered what I was doing, and eventually the highest I got by the end of the day of the 5 games, which was the last one, was I think it was a 95 or something like that. I just barely didn't go over 100. Maybe it was a 97. I just know like, even if I had bowled the last frame perfect, I couldn't have gotten a, well, maybe if I had gotten a strike, but I just, like, other than that, because I think I got several 7-10 splits, and that screwed me over. You have swim team. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. Yeah, Ugh. Yeah, that's been my week so far. Nothing, of course. I mean, I did terrible here. Of course, we're not going to qualify. Yeah, I've just been so busy. Reading books. I'm I'm reading... What is it? Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 books all at the same time. Each at like one book I had to read like, oh, for this week, you only have to read like 15 pages. Oh, for this one, read like 30. And then this one professor was like, oh, you have 3 chapters this week, which might seem like a lot, but they're all short chapters. No, the chapters amounted to 100 pages. Like, seriously, it was like each chapter, I think the main 2 chapters were 30 pages, and a little over. There, like, one was 32, one was 35, and then another chapter was 40 something. It was like 48. And it's like, what? You said these were short chapters. Like, for short, and like, for a short chapter, I would think like, 10, 15 pages. Because the book's not that big either. The book's only like 200 pages, 250. And this was like half the book. So I was like, what? What? And like, if it had been done, like, because we had the Labor Day, so we had the day off. If we had the day off for Labor Day, I would have been like, okay, that makes sense. You're giving us 2 weeks to do all this. It's still a lot, but we have 2 weeks to do it. No, this was a Tuesday class. So we didn't have, like, I had classes on that Monday that got canceled that had a quarter of the work. Or at least a quarter of the reading. So I don't get that. But that's just me complaining. That's just me complaining. I've been able to get stuff done in the background, and we'll talk about that at WIBE. There has been one game that I have been addicted to that I should not be addicted to. It's not good for me, but I can have it running in the background, and we'll get to that. I guess let's start with the news. Our first story tonight is, so I'm a fan of Sonic. The first Sonic game I ever played was in like 2009. No, technically that's not true. I had the Sonic Mega Collection on PlayStation 2. Yes, I did have that. I barely remember playing it, and I never beat one of those games. The first real Sonic game I remember playing was Sonic Colors on the Wii. And I really enjoyed Sonic Colors. I think it was 2009. It might have been 2010. It was some point in there. And after playing Sonic Colors, and Sonic Colors is a really good game, I was like, okay, I guess I should find out more about Sonic. And I remember watching some, like I remember early Game Grumps with Sonic, and, like, back when JonTron was on. And there were a few other people that I used to watch some Sonic stuff on. And yeah, eventually I just kind of got into Sonic, and I started playing the games, including the bad ones, like Sonic 06 and Sonic Boom later on. The only Sonic games I haven't played are, I want to, like, I haven't played the RPG one. Dark Brotherhood? No, it's not called Dark Brotherhood. I don't remember what the RPG is. The RPG on DS, I've never played that one. I've never played, I want to say Advance 3. There was a third Advanced game, right? I don't think I've ever played Sonic Advance 3. And I've not mobile, portable games. The Sonic Colors and Sonic Generations ports for DS, which are basically wholly different games. Because they use the boost formula method that's used in whatever the game is that introduced Blaze the Cat. I don't remember what it's called, and I played that one. I played the game that introduced Blaze the Cat. But after that, I didn't play a single, I didn't play the sequel to that. I think it was called Sonic Rush. Didn't play Sonic Rush 2 or Sonic Rush DX, whatever the sequel was. Never played Sonic Colors on DS. Did play Fire and Ice, but that was a good one. The one on the DS? Yeah. I think it was called Sonic Rush. Yeah, because the Colors and Generations and I guess Unleashed. Does Unleashed actually use the boost formula, and Sonic Rush uses the rush formula, which is technically kind of a different thing, even though they sound remarkably similar. I think there was a Rush too. Yeah. But yeah, I like me some... So those are the few games I haven't played. But over the years, I played the adventure games. I played all the original Sonic games. And I came to the conclusion many years ago that there are 6 good Sonic games. Sonic's... And I don't even know if I'd say Sonic 1 is one of them. Actually, I have to focus here. That's the one thing that sucks about this one map, is that you have to focus on it. Other than that, you can kind of get away with whatever. But yeah, so there are 6 good Sonic games, and I'd argue 1 isn't one of them. I don't think Sonic 1 is actually all that good. Oh, shit! I did not mean to do that. Sonic 1 is not actually all that good. It's fine, but I don't think it's all that good. There's part of me that wants to say that. I don't know if I'd commit to such a statement. Yeah, we did terribly. I screwed up. But Sonic 2 is good. Sonic 3 is good. Admittedly, the one I played was Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and I know there is a difference, but I couldn't tell you what it is. Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Sonic CD is good. And then, personally, I will say Colors is good. I think Colors is the one good 3D Sonic game. Adventure 1 and 2 both suck. Sonic Heroes sucks. Knuckles Chaotix suck. Unleashed is 50% a good game. 50% of Sonic Unleashed is a good game. The other 50% is terrible. And, of course, if you were just counting on the good 50%, I'd say it's one of the best Sonic games. But we're not. So it's not. Because that other 50% does still exist at the end of the day. So that's Unleashed. But I say Sonic Colors is good. I know people like Generations. And I kind of have the same thoughts about Sonic Generations. I think the first half of Sonic Generations is really good. When they're doing Green Hill, when they're doing Chemical Plant Zone, when they're doing other stuff. The problem is the latter half of Sonic Generations. When you're doing Sonic Adventures 1 and 2. Okay, yes, the one stage in Sonic Adventure 2 is cool, where you're getting chased by the car, but that's like okay, I guess that's good, and it's in Generations. The truck thing. The murder truck. But then you're doing Sonic 06, and it's like... Okay, I don't actually remember if you do Sonic 06. It wouldn't surprise me if you do. I don't know. The latter half of... And the final boss in Sonic Generations sucks, in my opinion. It's literally just the boss from Sonic Colors, but worse. Sonic Generation is a game, I get why people like it. I personally don't think it's anything that special. And that was the last good Sonic game until Mania. Mania is the best Sonic game, just period. It gets it. Yeah, sure, there's repeated content, but it's the good repeated content. Mania is a good Sonic game. I'll stand by that. But I think Generations is good. Or I think Sonic... Generations is fine. I think Colors is good. Which is what brings us to today's story. The Sonic Colors remake came out. And, oh boy, is that remake bad. So there's been all these threads on Twitter this past week about the Sonic Colors remake and just how terrible it is. How bad it looks. How bad it plays. How glitchy the game is. And it's a mess all around. Like, seriously, the Sonic Colors remake is terrible. Especially on Switch. On Switch, it seems to be anywhere from broken to straight up unplayable to potentially giving you seizures. So it seems to be very bad. However, there has been some controversy around this. Because supposedly, and from what I can tell, the supposedly was confirmed. But I'm just going to say supposedly for the moment. Some of the fake screenshots of Sonic Colors that look seizure inducive, where like you can't see anything in the game and it's just flashing lights and colors at you, and it's like you could barely tell it's a game. From what I have read, that's fake. Those screenshots were fake. Those videos were fake. Those videos were captured in a Wii emulator. At least some of them were. Now, I don't know about all of them, and there are some that I've definitely seen that are real. I think that whole Sonic turning into a fish thing is real, but some of those videos are fake. So that's been the whole controversy, but it does seem that no, Sega did totally just rush out this, or whatever company makes the game, rushed out this port, especially on Switch, and it's just a bad port. Of course, some people joked about Sonic, like, oh, the Switch just isn't a powerful enough system to run Sonic Colors. Of course, we all know that's bullshit, because Skyward Sword HD runs fantastic on Switch. I assume. I still haven't played it. No More Heroes 1 and 2 seem to run really good on Switch. Sega just did a shitty port. That's what this all comes down to. And that sucks. Because I was kind of interested in playing Sonic Colors again on... Okay, admittedly, I don't have a Switch at the moment. But, like, let's say hypothetically... Okay, yeah, you know what I mean. Switch is still broken. But let's say hypothetically I did. I would love to play Sonic Colors again. Because, again, I think it's the only good 3D Sonic game. Again, there are fine elements in other ones. But Sonic Colors is consistently good. And does not give nearly enough credit. I know I've told the story before, but when I did my review for Sonic Mania a few years back, someone commented that, like, oh, Sonic, like, they did, you know how, like, whenever someone talks about Star Wars, whenever someone talks about The Last Jedi, someone will be like, oh, The Last Jedi isn't good, all you have to do is watch this 12-hour video explaining why it isn't good. That happened to me when I reviewed Sonic Mania. In my review for Sonic Mania, I said Sonic Colors is a good game, and someone responded like, Sonic Colors isn't a good game, all you have to do is watch this 2-hour documentary about it. And I was like, you know what, I'll check out this 2-hour documentary, I'll watch the first few minutes. It was, like, the first okay, I checked out the first, like, 30 minutes, and the first 30 minutes was just the guy bitching about the voice acting. Because he didn't like the voice actors, because they weren't the voice actors from Sonic Adventure. That was like, of this like 2-hour video, 30 minutes was just him complaining about the voice actor, and how a game about a blue hedgehog intended for children was a children's game. No, seriously, that was one of his big complaints. Oh, I don't mind at all. But yeah, so that was one of the big complaints, like, oh, this game for children is designed for children, and that makes it a bad game. And then, like, they were complaining that, like, Eggman isn't funny in the game, in Sonic Colors. Eggman is fucking hilarious in Sonic Colors. Go look it up, like, some of Eggman's, like, background dialogue. It's actually pretty good. But admittedly, comedy is very subjective, and it's all personal. But I thought Eggman's dialogue was hilarious in Sonic Colors. And I still think it holds up. Like, there's some stuff in there that's actually, like, really clever and kind of funny. Because Eggman is running, like, an amusement park. And you know how, like, in amusement parks, they'll... Not in all of them, like, I know Disneyland doesn't do it. But they'll occasionally, like, play announcements over the loudspeaker. I mean, Disneyland does it in extreme scenarios. In Sonic Colors, Eggman plays announcements over the speakers as you travel around the amusement park, and they're hilarious. I really enjoy Sonic Colors. The voice acting's good. I'll stand by that. It's a game about a blue hedgehog intended for children where you explore an amusement park. Fucking Sonic fans. They ruined Sonic. Then again, I'm no better. I mean, like, I clearly hate all Sonic games except for 6 of them. Potentially 5. So yeah, it just sucks the Sonic Colors remake sucks. Because I was genuinely like, oh, this is going to be cool. And then when it wasn't, I was disappointed. Because I wanted it to be cool. I think, what, 2 of each from what I can tell? No, maybe... 2. Oh, okay. I know this thing had 2. So yeah, so I'm disappointed because I wanted it to be good. And like the Skyward Sword HD seems to be really good. There was another game recently that got an HD remake that was pretty good. Okay, 4 dragon fruits, 2 coconuts, 1 pear. This is another game I gotta focus on. I actually do like that they're adding in another logic game. Because logic, there's always only been a single one. And I kind of get it. I wonder what other kind of logic puzzle stuff they can work in. Dragon fruit. Yeah, I'm disappointed because what was the other game that had a remake recently? 2, 3, 3. Oh, 4, 2, 4, 3, 2. And I only see 1 bolt, but there might have been a second one. Oh, I went to jump in. I just, whatever. I think that's the last round, so yeah, we're good. But yeah, I'm just disappointed. Because yeah, that Skyward Sword remake was good, and I've been hearing actually pretty good things about No More Heroes 3. I've never played a No More Heroes game, and I need to eventually, because I've heard, like, I know the games have their problems, especially the second one. And let's not even talk about Travis Strikes Back. But I know, like, of the 3 main games, they have their problems, but they're also pretty fun. In, like, a Deadly Premonition kind of way. And I always wanted to try one, but I never got around to it. And now they're all on Switch, and I said that once they come to Switch, I'm going to actually check them out. And then the Switch broke. Okay, I think it broke. The games came out before the Switch broke, but even still. I just haven't been playing that many games. Well, except for on Steam. And again, we'll talk about that. So our next story is PlayStation didn't do an E3 showcase this year, as we all know. So instead, right, we were waiting out, and Summer Games Fest was just a few days ago, or like it was like a week or 2 ago now. And the Summer Games Fest showcase was pretty solid. It was a pretty solid showcase. I think it started strong. I remember it ending strong as well. There was a lull in the middle. But the Summer Games, the Gamescom opening night live thing, that basically end off the E3 season, was pretty decent all around. And so, the only people who haven't done a showcase was Sony. And, a bunch of other companies I don't care about. So, it was like, hey, Nintendo did one, Microsoft did one. Sony hasn't done anything. And last week, Sony had announced that, hey, we're doing a showcase next week. And that showcase happened on Thursday. So, here we are. Now, I would have streamed this showcase, but I was in class when this happened. I was in class, and you put your phone up, and I was watching the showcase. I thought I came to it late. No, when I actually watched the full thing, later, I realized that I had actually started it right on time. Because I think I started at I don't know, I think it started at 3:05? Or I think I started at 3:05 and the showcase started at 3. But no, I came in right as the first announcement happened. Which, let's just go through all the announcements, shall we? Oh, hey, look, we got a crown. Hey, 103. I got a fever of 103. And that's all the song I can legally sing because Twitch's copyright system. Trying to find the stupid the stand to put my list on. So the showcase starts off with this chess ad, and that's why I say I came in during the first announcement, because there was this chess ad, not for a game, but it's a PlayStation ad, but all the characters in the PlayStation ad are different chess pieces, And it's a decent enough ad. It was just long. I think it was like a 3-minute ad. So it might have been shorter or longer than that, but it felt long. But that was how they opened it up, with like people like taking each other's pieces, being crowned king. You know what? It's chess, but but using the metaphor of PlayStation. And it was, yeah. I mean, it was decent enough. And that got us into our first announcement, Knights of the Old Republic remake. People, was this a PS2 game? Or it was around that time. Because I probably was on PC. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I have never played Knights of the Old Republic. The only Star Wars game I've only played 2 Star Wars games. Okay, 3 counting Lego Star Wars. But Lego Star Wars is a beast unto itself. The only 2, like, Star Wars games I've played are Return of the Jedi on Game Boy and the Wii one. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name. The Wii Star Wars game, it was called not Force Awakens. That's one of the movies. It was called Force Unleashed. That was it. It was on the Wii. I know it was on other systems, but you got it on the Wii because it was like, hey, the Wiimote's like a lightsaber. Isn't that gonna be cool? Oh, I did play that Kinect Star Wars games now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I did play that. Ah, yeah. Oh, gosh. Oh, wow. But yeah, so I had the Force Unleashed. I think I beat it back in the day, but I could not tell you a single thing about it. And I know they eventually made a sequel that I never played, because, yeah. I don't know, it was a promising idea. But I know people love Knights of the Old Republic. It's one of those classic RPGs, like... I was going to say... the first thing that popped into my head was Anthem. But that's not it. It's a BioWare game. It's not Dragon Age I always say Inquisition, because I think that was the only one I played. But Dragon Age is one of them. Dragon Age is a classic RPG, but it's called... It's got Commander Shepard in it. I think you're fighting phantoms. Mass Effect. Freak, I cannot believe I forgot the name of Mass Effect. I've never played Mass Effect. I know they did a remake earlier this year. No, I'm not going to play it. I mean, I should, but I'm not going to. But, yeah, Knights of the Old Republic is one of those classic RPGs like Mass Effect. Even though, from what I understand, Mass Effect actually isn't that old. But it's a classic RPG that people love. I've never played it. And I'm curious to give this a play, right? People love this game so much. And while I see this being a remake that's easy to screw up... I just realized we didn't qualify. Well, I could see this being a remake that's easy to screw up. Maybe they'll do it right. This is one of those remakes that people have always wanted because people love the original game. I could care less, honestly. Oh, but the other thing about... did we get a release date for it? I don't think we did. But it is a PlayStation exclusive. Timed PlayStation exclusive. So that means it's exclusive to PS5 for anywhere from usually 6 months to a year. I think most exclusives are 6 months to a year. So, yeah, that's a big thing. So, that's actually a big win for PlayStation. It's kind of... While it's not in the same thing as, like, Microsoft getting Bethesda, which PlayStation does still have Deathloop in Ghostwire, which we will talk about. But yeah, so this is a big one for PlayStation. I don't know, maybe I'll check this out one of these days. Next up was Project Eve. So as I'm watching this trailer, the first time I'm watching it, I don't have any sound. Alright, I'm in class, I'm watching it, I don't have any sound. But as I'm watching it, I see like these weird like tentacle monster things. And for some reason my first thought is that they look like parasites. And I'm like, is this game Parasite Eve? No, Parasite Eve was a canceled game, right? That doesn't exist anymore. So it can't be Parasite Eve. Then when I rewatched the showcase a few hours later, nope, the game's called Project Eve. How the I got Parasite Eve, like how I got close-ish just from watching the trailer, I have no idea. So it must be it must be doing something, right? Sadly, I need to head to sleep now. Yeah, no, it's cool to see you, Pookie. I'm good to see you're doing well, even if we're all busy. Yeah, no, it's good to see you. But yeah, this Project Eve game. The game itself reminds me of Bayonetta. Like, I don't know what studio is making it. It's not Platinum Games. But the combat reminds me of Bayonetta. But there's also this element of the game, and I don't know why, but there's this element to this game that reminds me of BioShock. I can't explain that. Maybe it has something to do with the design, but there's just this weird element where it's like, this kind of feels like an anime of BioShock. Not like you're in like an underwater city or a floating cloud city. But I don't know, that's just kind of a vibe I got. And I know there have been rumors of like a new BioShock game forever now, because even though whoever the showrunner right, whoever the main developer of BioShock was, Ken Levine? Was it Ken Levine? Even though he left the studio and I don't even know if he's doing stuff anymore, BioShock is owned by, the IP is owned by, I think, 2K. And there was always talks about like, oh, they were going to just get another studio to do a different one. And there's that whole System Shock remake mess that I don't even want to talk about. But there was talks about us getting a new BioShock game, and maybe one day that'll happen. But yeah, I don't know. There was just something about this game that gave me like a BioShock vibe. Of course, it reminds me way more of Bayonetta. And like, that's clearly, it's because it's a spectacle fighter. So it's the same genre. And there are some like weird things in it. Like there are these creatures with like chainsaw faces. I don't know. I've never read the manga Chainsaw Man, which is one of those things that like people are obsessed with, in a way that definitely makes me think that something bad is going to happen. You know, it's kind of like, it's like when something becomes popular and you're just like, oh, this thing is going to have a fucked up fan base. The personal example I think of is Bendy and the Ink Machine. I remember seeing Bendy and the Ink Machine for the first time and being like, oh, this game's going to have a fucked up fan base. And, well, I don't think it ever got that bad. Yeah. Like, it never got as bad as, like, Undertale or Hello Neighbor or one of those games. Yeah. I don't know. I never beat Bendy. I played the first, like, 2 chapters, and I liked it. I liked it fine enough. Did I ever play the 3rd chapter? I know I never beat it. I might have played the 3rd chapter now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, no, maybe I did. Maybe it was Life is Strange I only played the first 2 chapters of. I don't know. It's been years now. That is the first time I've thought about Bendy and the Ink Machine in years. Were we a team of 3? I thought we were a team of 4. But I don't know. This Project Eve thing looks interesting. I don't know if I'd ever play it, but it's because I don't really care for spectacle fighters like Bayonetta, but it's interesting. Next up, Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Again, the idea of like a Borderlands style fantasy game where it's like the looter shooter style thing where you just get like infinite weapons. A decent idea. But, you know, they're gonna fuck it up somehow. And because, you know, Borderlands 3 was and I don't know, part of me is like the fact that they're like making Tiny Tina the mainstay, a character who I've heard very mixed opinions on. Some people hate her, some people love her. I don't know. Again, the only Borderlands game I ever played was 2. But I don't think it's an inherently terrible idea by any means. Like I've definitely seen worse. Oh, I thought we were back in for a second there. But it looks okay. I mean, it is, like, part of me was like, I wish they would, like, in the way Borderlands has all, like, this massive gun selection and these guns that do all these weird things. My hope would be like, oh, if Borderlands is doing a fantasy game, maybe they'd have all sorts of swords and magic that do all sorts of crazy things. But that's not what they're going for here. Nope. Instead, it's just like there is magic. I think there are swords and whatnot, but there are also guns because, you know, it's still a Borderlands game at the end of the day. So I'm less interested in it to that extent. I was never, again, one day maybe I'll play a Borderlands game because, again, I hear they're good, and I remember not hating what I played of 2. I just never beat it. Maybe one day. And where was Kevin Hart? I thought Kevin Hart was supposed to be in Borderlands. That's a joke. Next up was Forspoken, which so this is, I only know of it. We actually talked about this game during E3 because I know Gary Whitta is one of the writers on it, and that's literally the only reason I know anything about this game. But the trailer, it's an isekai. Like, you know, isekai in anime. If you don't know, it's like when, like, a person dies and then they're reborn in a parallel world that has, like, magic and fantasy and whatnot. It's a very popular genre. I like it. Some of the shows are good, not all of them, and there is definitely a formula that people are growing sick of for good reason. But there are some good shows, some shows that I enjoyed, and some shows I fucking hate. I don't know, everyone likes that. Is it Konosuba? The one where, with Aqua and the Explosion Girl and the BDSM girl who's, no, I think the Explosion Girl's named Megumi. That sounds right in my head. I don't know, I only ever watched the first season and I never saw anything else of it. Even though I did like the first season. But that's like that's like the prime example. But, so, the game's trailer starts off like that. Like, they're a normal person living in just their normal life when all of a sudden a portal opens and they're taken to a magical dimension with magic and whatnot. So, yeah, it's the setup, and now all of a sudden in this magic dimension they have magic powers. The setup is literally an isekai. But, to that end, it does actually look pretty fun. It reminds me of Infamous, which there were rumors mostly, that we were going to get an Infamous remake or remaster or something. Which Infamous, gosh, all of us qualified and we still didn't get enough points. Wow. Okay, one of us DNF'd, but yeah. Oh, I didn't even notice the one DNF. God, that screwed up. A DNF screws you in this game. But yeah, there were hopes for an Infamous remake, and I want that, because, well, I never owned a PS3, but I did play Infamous. I played both of them, actually, and, because I borrowed a PS3, and I just, specifically to play those two games, and I borrowed a PS4 to play Infamous Second Son, which I actually kind of do want to play again, along with First Light, was it called First Light? I don't know. I never actually played First Light, but I heard people liked it. But this kind of feels like Infamous, but with like magic and whatnot. Hopefully, it doesn't have the big problem with Infamous is the karma system, which is just like stupid. Like that. That's the one big problem with that game. Yeah, sure. Let's go with that for now. But I really like Infamous, and so a game that kind of feels Infamous inspired is really cool. Oh, and so remember when a few weeks ago when we were talking about the Gamescom showcase, I mentioned how many games were coming out in March and February? Because next year is packed. Next year has the potential to be the biggest year in video games ever. Will it be? I don't know. But it has the potential to be one of the biggest years in gaming ever. Which I think right now, the current biggest year in gaming, it's up for debate. Like, there's a few things. But the biggest one is kind of roughly considered to be, is it 2006 or 2007? Whatever year Mario Galaxy came out in. Because Mario Galaxy, BioShock, I think either the first or second Uncharted game. A lot of big titles come out in either 2006 or 2007. I don't remember the date off the top of my head, or the year. But I know, like, that's considered one of the biggest years in gaming. But right now with the lineup, it looks like next year is going to be another potential biggest year in gaming. And this PlayStation Showcase definitely goes on to it. But right now, March and February are just overcrowded. There are too many games coming out in March and February. Things are going to move. Like, definitely, like I could see both this Tiny Tina's Wonderland. Forspoken is spring 2020, so it's also very early. So that could be like April or May. But there's a lot of things coming out in 2020, especially February and March, and eventually stuff is gonna start moving. Probably later in the year, or early next year. I think Horizon Forbidden West is February. So yeah, a lot of things are coming out in March and February, and this PlayStation Showcase did not help. Definitely helped to prove that, hey, next year is going to be like the biggest year in gaming, but it did not help in the fact that there are too many games coming out in like a 2-month period. It's just too many games, and some of them are going to move. I mean, and of course, on Game Pass, this isn't a problem. Like, on Game Pass, you just, for one price, you get all of these games. So that isn't a problem. But most, if not any of these games are going to be on Game Pass. So that's not a thing they have to, right? Like, the conflicting release dates is something they do have to worry about. At least that's my take on it. But yeah, they talked about Rainbow Six Siege Extraction, or Rainbow Six Extraction, which I'm only bringing up to remind you that Ubisoft is a company that mentally and physically abuses their employees. Fuck them, moving on. Alan Wake is getting a remake. It's got some... This was leaked. It's coming out October 5th, later this year. We went out. No, we didn't. But yeah, Alan Wake, it's got better lighting. I've never played Alan Wake. Because you had Alan Wake into Quantum Break, and then you had Control. I remember something about Quantum Break. What is that? What do I remember about Quantum Break? Was that the thing where you get, like, stuck in a time portal, and all of a sudden you come back and your, like, best friend is evil and, like, 60 years older now for some reason? Or maybe you're doing time travel experiments. That's Quantum Break, right? I don't know, that sounds right in my head. I don't know. It was an Xbox game. Oh, we're down a guy. I forgot that. 2. Yeah, there were 2 bananas. But yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about Control. Even though the whole PS4 to PS5 upgrade practices were bullshit. Because, like, they just kept charging people more money. I've still heard nothing but good things about the game itself. So, yeah. But, yeah, Alan Wake is a game I know people love. And this remake, the big thing is the lighting. I saw, like, a cutscene comparison between the two. And, yeah, there's definitely an improvement. I think there were 4 of these. We're not winning this, but I'm going to try. I'm not losing by too much. But yeah, so, I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. 4 pears, 2 coconuts, 3 coconuts, and 2 raspberries, I guess. I know they're not raspberries, but they're something like that. They're schnozberries. And I got fucked. Right as we were about to go up as well. Did we qualify still? Oh, wow. Somebody else must have done terribly. But yeah, Alan Wake, it's a cool remake. Sure, maybe I'll actually play it this time. I don't know. Probably not. But I might. You never know. You never know. Because I know now the studio that makes it is now free from... Was it Microsoft who controlled the copyright? I don't remember, actually. It might have been Microsoft. I know they have... But they won their copyright back for Alan Wake, which is why the remake is happening. Next up, GTA 5 is getting remade again. Right, GTA 5 is in the running for most remade game, up there with Resident Evil 4 and Skyrim. Of course, there are those games that have been re-released so many times that it's like, why even bother to talk about it? Like Tetris, Minecraft, I don't know, the original has the original Super Mario Brothers really been re-released all that much? I can only think of like 6 or 7 times, which is less than Skyrim. But yeah, I know Skyrim's been it's been for the past decade. GTA 5, and it's all because of GTA Online. Like that's the old Rockstar doesn't give a shit about you playing the story mode. They just want you to go on GTA Online so that way you buy their shark cards and get their microtransactions. Which they've done some cool things. Like seriously, some of those like shark card missions and whatnot have some really cool shit in them. And like the flying motorcycles and the what else was there's a flying motorcycle, the DeLorean, the Batmobile. They've added some cool stuff in there. But it's all locked behind microtransactions. I mean, yes, you can technically make the in-game money, but it's such a pain in the ass that nobody would ever actually do it. So that sucks. That really sucks. But that's why they're re-releasing it again. And that's why I guess they never brought it to Switch. Because Switch wouldn't run GTA Online as well, so they have no reason to bring it to Switch. If I had to guess. Of course, I mean, again, GTA Online was technically a PS3, Xbox, GTA 5, I mean, they're both were technically a PS3, Xbox 360 game. So it could totally run on Switch, and it'd run well enough. It looked like a PS3, Xbox 360 game, but it'd run well. But yeah, if I had to guess, that's the reason why. Because the Switch has been out, what, 4 or 5 years now? And especially with this new remake coming out for next generation consoles, I mean, Skyrim did a re-release back in 2017, and that's when they brought it to Switch. Doing another re-release of GTA 5, it would make sense to bring it to Switch now. Of course, there is that rumor about all those 3 GTA remasters, which this would have been the perfect place to show that off, so that's why I don't think any of those are happening, because, again, well, 1, it's too good to be true, and 2, they can just, they make more money off GTA 5. Because GTA Online makes stupid amounts of money. They showed off Ghostwire Tokyo. This is that Bethesda game that was one of the games that was PlayStation exclusive, that is still PlayStation exclusive for, I think it's PlayStation exclusive for like 6 months or something like that. Because, you know, Microsoft, even after Microsoft bought Bethesda, they still honored Bethesda's deals with PlayStation. And in a way, I do give them credit for that. Not, like, actual credit that matters or anything, but, yeah. Because they might not have had a choice, because contracts are contracts. The one thing I will say about Ghostwire, it looks actually pretty decent, all things considered. I am worried about Ghostwire Tokyo, though, because the director on the game, who was Shinji Mikami's apprentice? I don't remember her. You know, she, in E3 2 years ago, she was, or I think it was 2 years ago, she was like the big standout. Like, she came up on stage and she was pretty cute, and everybody just loved her, along with, because, you know, that was the same year Keanu Reeves came out for Cyberpunk. Yeah, I think that was 2 years ago now. Yeah, she introduced this game, I think, at a Bethesda showcase, and she was working on it, and now she's not anymore. So, because she left the studio to go do something else, and I don't know if she ever did anything. I don't remember her name. That's the problem. Yeah, because, yeah, she was Akira Yamaoka, or Akira Yamaoki's does the music for, like, Silent Hill. No, she was Shinji Mikami's apprentice, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong about that. But yeah, I mean, so there is that to be hesitant about. But other than that, the game looks pretty good. So that's cool. Next up, Guardians of the Galaxy. They showed off that game again. You know, Guardians game that people people are like moderately interested in. Kind of like one of those old, like, remember when they used to make like movie tie-in games and people were like, this is probably bad, but it might be good. Chronicles of Riddick was good. The one good movie tie-in game. There were a few other, licensed games always kind of are a hit and miss. But they just don't make licensed games anymore, at least not that much. Because, hey, guess what? You can just make a mobile game and it'll do way better. Like, hey, do you want a tie-in game for your Boss Baby movie? Yes? Well, hey, we're just going to make you a Candy Crush ripoff, and that's good enough, right? And yes, it is, and yes, those games make stupid amounts of money. And while I know this is a Marvel game, it's done by Square Enix, who did that Marvel's Avengers games that people hate. Okay, I know some people like it, but it's not that good, from what I've heard. I don't know, I've always kind of meant to check it out. Yeah, this Guardians of the Galaxy, I think it looks fine. I don't know, they're doing the, what is it, the Church of Eternal Light or something like that, which is something I've never heard of. But there were some neat things in it. They had Cosmo the Space Dog, which is, that's fun. I don't know, I think the game looks fine. It comes out in, what, October? October 26th? Yeah, it looks fine. It might be good. I don't know. And I think is it a streaming version on Switch? I know there's something like the Switch version has something weird about it. At least I think it does. Next up, they showed off Vampire the Masquerade Blood Hunt. That's basically, it's like a Dead by Daylight style game, but in the Vampire the Masquerade universe. I've never played Vampire the Masquerade. I know people love that game. I think it's based on a tabletop RPG, potentially, maybe. I'm not kind of like Cyberpunk is based on a tabletop RPG. It might be. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know. I read something once that made it sound like it was. I don't know. I know people love the universe of Vampire the Masquerade, and I think they're working on Vampire the Masquerade 2. But in the meantime, they're doing this, or a different some studio got the license and decided to do this. I personally have no interest in this whatsoever, and I don't know anybody who does. But somebody must, because... yeah? I don't know. Next up, hey, remember that game we've seen 1,000 trailers for? Yeah, here's another trailer for it. Fucking Deathloop. The game with 1,000 trailers got 1,001 trailer. 1,001st? They put out another Deathloop trailer. A game that has been getting marketing for literal years now. I think Deathloop has been getting marketing since like not only since before the pandemic, but I think as long as the pandemic has gone on. Like, if you were to take that, so it's been, what, a year and... It's been about a year and, what, 8 months? So it's been about 20 months, give or take, like a month. It's been about 20 months. Okay, that doesn't sound right, actually. No, that's not right. It's been 18, let's go with 18 months instead. That sounds better. It's been about 18 months since the pandemic started. I was throwing March in there, and I probably shouldn't have. It's been about 18 months since the pandemic started. Go back 18 months since before the pandemic, and that's probably about how long we've been getting trailers for Deathloop. It's been so fucking long. Everybody's sick of it by this point, and they keep showing trailers. The game comes out next fucking week. Even Nintendo knows not to make the mistake of releasing another trailer before a week before a game comes out. Because that's happened. Nintendo has done like an E3 showcase the week before a game comes out, and not even mention the game at E3. Or if they do, they mention like DLC. Nope, this is just another trailer for Deathloop. I am convinced that they have showed off everything for this game. This game has been getting trailers for so long, and every trailer shows off something just a little different, that there is no conceivable chance they haven't showed off everything. Which, speaking of Nintendo, that's the same thing people fear about Metroid Dread right now. Nintendo, for once, is marketing a Metroid game, and they're putting their all into it. They genuinely want Metroid Dread to be a success. And to that end, they've been putting out a lot of trailers, and potentially they've been putting out too many trailers. The first trailer was good, and then they released that trailer a few weeks ago that we talked about that I thought was good, but I know some people were like, no, this shows off way too much. Personally, I didn't think so. I thought it was like, yeah, it shows off more, but I don't think it shows off too much. How did we qualify for that? We were screwed most of that round. Whatever. And then they put out a new Metroid Dread trailer today that I didn't even watch. I'm done watching Metroid Dread trailers. I'm very, when it comes to spoilers, I am very mixed. On one hand, I'm like, no, I don't want to be spoiled. But on the other hand, I just don't give a shit. And I do have that theory that, like, you can enjoy something that has been spoiled. I personally do strongly believe that. Of course, you'd rather go into it not spoiled, but it happens. But yeah, Deathloop is just a game that I think marketing-wise, its trailers are doing more bad than good right now. Like, from what I understand from people who have played previews of the game's pretty decent all the way around. I mean, I don't know, because I didn't care for the Dishonored games. They just, nah. Like, there were elements where I was like, no, this is good. But then there's that whole, like, oh, the right way to play this game. Like, it's a toolbox that gives you options to beat the missions however you want. But it clearly wants you to beat the game without killing anybody. Like, that's clearly the game. Kind of like, right, like I was talking about Infamous earlier, or Bioshock's another good example. Bioshock allows you to kill and not kill, but, like, the game clearly wants you to not kill, and the benefits you get for killing are nothing. Right? Like, it's, like, you barely get any benefit to kill, so there's no reason to do it. And Infamous is all like, oh yeah, we want you to stealth through all these missions without killing anybody. Or, I said Dishonored. Or did I say Infamous? I felt like I did. Dishonored is a game where it's like, oh, it doesn't want you to kill anybody. And I'm like, eh. And then there's just part of me that couldn't get into it. Like, I tried. I did try. And I just couldn't get into it. But Deathloop looks pretty decent. It looks pretty good. But I and so many others are just sick of trailers for it. We've had far too many, and I'm just tired. I'm so tired of Deathloop trailers. The game, it's kind of like Free Guy. Free Guy had like 2+ years worth of trailers. Probably around 2 years. And I was just sick of it. And every movie I saw had it I mean, admittedly, I didn't watch a movie for like a good, like, 14 months, 15 months. But from like before the pandemic to just like a few weeks ago, every trailer was Free Guy. At least every movie had a Free Guy trailer before it. And then it finally came out and it was like, oh, thank God, at least I don't have to see any Free Guy trailers anymore. That's me with Deathloop right now. Oh, thank God, it's coming out next week. I don't have to see any Deathloop trailers anymore. It was in so many E3 just recently, yeah, it was in a bunch of E3 showcases. It's been everywhere, and everyone's so tired of it. Most people are anyways. And I do think it's doing more harm than good at this point, because again, I feel like they showed everything. But yeah, that's all to say. I think the game looks good. I don't know. It comes out next week. Next up, Kid Amnesia? Yeah, it's like Kid Amnesia, but there's like a space between A and the rest of Amnesia. And it's a game based on a Radiohead album. Okay. Sure. I mean, I've been addicted to Sayonara Wild Hearts. You can totally make video games around music albums. Sure. That's all I have to say about that. I don't really listen to Radiohead. Next up is Tchia? Tchia. This game is something I'm super interested in. Mainly because it looks like it's Breath of the Wild, but it has the capture mechanic from Super Mario Odyssey. Right? Like there's this open world you can explore, you have the hang glider and everything. And so it's like it's got this Breath of the Wild style open world. It's clearly inspired by that. But then you can like possess animals like Mario Odyssey. And I'm just like, fuck yeah. Because I don't know, like I haven't played Genshin Impact, which is literally just Breath of the Wild but in a different skin and with microtransactions. But I know there are other Breath of the Wild likes, and I'm totally down for more Breath of the Wild likes, and this one looks really good. Was this one a Polynesian story? It's based on a Pacific. Is it based on a Pacific island? Was it Papua New Guinea? It's got a subtitle. I should look that up. But it looks really like out of all the things, like this is a game that's my style. Like there are things that I'm interested in because they're the big things, or I'm like Knights of the Old Republic. I don't actually care too much about it because I have no investment, but I know people like it, so maybe I'll enjoy it. And yeah, but this is like, oh, this is right up my alley. Let's see here. Caledonia. That's it. It's inspired. Okay. But yeah, it reminds me of Breath. Let's see. In the About section from Game Informer, it's been a while since we last heard of Tchia, the tropical, mind-hopping adventure game that invokes games like the Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker. Based on the New Caledonia, player control a young girl with magical abilities to take over animals and objects. So it's New Caledonia. Okay. I knew it was. I couldn't think of the exact place because I didn't write it down. But this game looks great. I'm totally down for whatever this is. Yeah. No, this sounds. Did we DNF? I don't see us in there. I was not paying attention. Okay, no, we didn't. But yeah, so I'm totally, I don't, did we get a release date for this? I don't think we did, or like even a release window. But, because yeah, so, but whatever this is, I'm totally down for it. Let's see, next up, Uncharted. We're getting a new Uncharted The Lost Legacy collection, which is Uncharted 4, from what I understand, it's Uncharted 4 and Uncharted The Lost Legacy, both coming to PS5 with, all the PS5 graphical improvements that you'd expect of, like, a remake collection like this. And it's also coming to PC, which, I know some people are probably excited for. I own every Uncharted, the first 4 Uncharted games. I don't own Lost Legacy or whatever it's called. I don't own that one, but I own the other ones. And I have been meaning to play Uncharted, specifically the second one. I've heard that, like, people have told me that I would love the second Uncharted game, especially the remake, which is the one I own. I own the remake, but I've never played any Uncharted games because, again, I didn't have a PS3. So yeah, and I when I borrowed the PS3, I played Infamous, not Uncharted. Well, okay, I did play The Last of Us, but that's another story for another day. I borrowed a PS3, and I've always done that. Like, I'm one of those people who, like, I trust people well enough, and they trust me well enough. When I borrow something, I damn well respect it and give it back. Damn right. All right, you gotta build your brand and you gotta respect it. But yeah, this Uncharted thing, okay, sure. One day I'll play the Uncharted games. One day. And then this is where we get to the big announcements. These last 4 announcements. Okay, one of these I don't give a shit about, but that's just me. These last 3 announcements are the big ones. So by this point in the showcase, I had stopped watching. Class, either I was doing something else, or I think I actually got out of class somewhere through the showcase. And I, instead of like, oh, while I'm walking back to my car or whatever, I didn't like just have like, I didn't just listen to the showcase. Instead, I just completely shut it off. And instead, I went bowling. Because I was like, you know what, I'll go watch this. I'm going to go bowling, and then I'll come back to it in like an hour or two. And once I know it's been fully uploaded on YouTube. Fuck. Right, so I'm just going to ignore it for now. So that's what I did. But while I looked at my phone at one point, and I saw a tweet, probably from Wario64, that was Wolverine. So I knew they were making a Wolverine game. And I was like, oh, fuck. So Insomniac, who in the last 6 months, in a 6-month time period, have put out 2 games. They put out Spider-Man Miles Morales in, November? And they put out Ratchet & Clank: A Rift Apart in June. Well, they came down today and announced they're doing Marvel's Wolverine. Insomniac is making a Wolverine game. I am not a big fan of the X-Men. Like, I used to be as a kid, but nowadays, I don't care about the X-Men at all anymore. Like, it feels like something I could get back into, especially if the movies are good. But for the moment, like when Disney does eventually make them, for the moment, I do not give a fuck about the X-Men. I'm kind of sick and tired of the X-Men. Part of it is also My Hero Academia's fault, but that's a story for another day. I'm not going to go into that right now. But so I'm kind of sick of X-Men. But the idea, I enjoyed Insomniac Spider-Man. I really fucking want to play Miles Morales. I saw it was on sale a few weeks ago. Or this was like maybe even last week. And I was like, am I gonna pick it up? No, I want to play it on PS5. I'm not gonna pick it up. I should have fucking picked it up. Fuck. I really want to play Spider-Man Miles Morales. Maybe even just play the PS4 game again. I don't know. I'm thinking next time I play Spider-Man on PS4, I'm gonna stream it. I think I've already come to that conclusion. Because I'm just gonna because I have like 2 achievements to get. And I think that would just be a decent enough stream. Just avoid all the side missions, just do the story stuff. That's my plan at the moment anyways. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Maybe in, I don't know, October, November. We'll figure it out. But we didn't see much of it. It's just Logan at a bar. You see the claws. That's it. So we don't know much about this game. But this is Insomniac. I know people have some mixed feelings about Spider-Man, and yeah, the story's not perfect, but I still really enjoyed the game. So, this is Insomniac. They're kind of carrying PlayStation right now. I have faith they'll do something good. Then, so there was technically a Gran Turismo 7 announcement, which I have nothing to say. It's another sports car game. I guess it looks good. I don't give a shit about sports car games. I like Mario Kart. I liked Crash Team Racing until Activision Blizzard ruined it by putting microtransactions in it. Because fuck Activision Blizzard. Did you see, for the new Call of Duty stuff, they took the Activision Blizzard logo off the new Call of Duty games, so that way people won't, like, associate them with the lawsuit. They're fucking trying to hide that they make the Call of Duty games. Fuck that. Fuck Activision Blizzard. God. But I don't give a shit about sports games. I only care about Mario Kart. And so yeah, this has no appeal to me. Another game, so for some reason in the showcase, they didn't give the release date. Because it just like all of a sudden randomly just cut to black for no reason. They later on revealed after the show that the release date is March 2020. So yeah, it's also coming out in March. Another game to add. So I'm sure somebody's already compiled a list of every game coming out in March and February. But whatever that list is it's massive. If you're excited for this, good for you. I don't care. Sports game, sports car game, don't care. But, so Insomniac, after that, they then went back to Insomniac. So how this trailer started is you're seeing like a street, and it's like going around the street, and then all of a sudden like there's like a traffic light or a street sign, and like electricity flickers up the traffic light. And my first thought was Infamous. Because again, there has been some sort of talk or rumor about an Infamous remake. And I was like, is it gonna happen? Are we gonna get the Infamous remake? Oh fuck, it might happen right here. So the Wolverine thing was spoiled to me on Twitter. I said that, right? The Infamous thing, I found out, or the Wolverine thing, I found out about Twitter. So that would have been a huge surprise. But once I knew about it, this I did not see coming. I thought the Wolverine thing had taken this game's spot. I was hoping this was going to be here, but once I saw the Wolverine thing, I was like, no, of course they're not going to reveal that. They revealed Marvel's Spider-Man 2. Peter Parker, Miles Morales together to fight Venom. Holy shit, this is awesome. I know we didn't get much from it. The release date is 2023. It's still a long ways away. But again, Insomniac just put out 2 games in 6 months. And now they've got a Wolverine game that might be next year. I don't know. It might be next year. Again, COVID kind of makes everything more complicated. And now they've got this Spider-Man game coming out presumably in November 2023. Holy shit, Insomniac. God, if this lives up to it. Oh my gosh, Insomniac. They're killing it. Now, for fairness sake, right, I've called out Activision Blizzard, I've called out PlayStation, I've called out all these studios. It's only fair that we do talk about Insomniac did have allegations against it. I did not remember these. I personally forgot these allegations even existed. But yes, there are allegations against Insomniac for abusing their employees. It's probably, I don't remember all the details off the top of my head. It's probably crunch related, but I'm not 100% certain about that. But there were allegations against Insomniac. They haven't said, in an official statement, Insomniac said that they are working on it to be better. Like, they say they're going to be better. And that was the last we heard about it, because everyone just kind of forgot. Like, and the only reason people are still talking about the Activision Blizzard thing is because it's a lawsuit. Like, Ubisoft allegations came out, and within a month, 99% of people had forgotten about them. The only reason people are still pounding Activision Blizzard is because there is an official lawsuit. If this would have just been like allegations that came out from like a newspaper like Bloomberg, nobody would give a shit. No, it's because of the lawsuit that people give a shit. So I do have to be fair and mention that. Am I swearing off all Insomniac games? Because am I biased? Because I like Insomniac games, whereas I do not give a fuck about Activision Blizzard. Maybe. I mean, of course, I'm a human. All humans are biased. But also, I like Ubisoft games. And as of this moment, I currently have no intentions to ever buy a Ubisoft game again. I have been tempted, and we will definitely tempt my fate. We will tempt my commitment to not buying a Ubisoft game when Mario + Rabbids Kingdom Battle 2 comes out. But that's not yet. But I should mention that. But with that, I will say the Spider-Man. I'm so excited. And there's also like hints of like Kraven the Hunter. It might just be all around Venom, but it really does sound like Kraven the Hunter to me. So I don't know. But I like that Spider-Man game. And it's funny because I don't like Sunset Overdrive. Like, I did not like Insomniac's previous game. It was around then. I did not like Sunset Overdrive. I just didn't. So, I guess I should yeah, I don't know. But, God. I don't know. Again, it comes down to, for each person, their own. Where do you draw the lines in the sand? There's technically no right answer. There are answers I would consider wrong, but there is no answer I would consider right, per se. There is no singular one right answer. It's complicated. Like everything, it's complicated. But yeah. And that leads us to our last announcement, God of War Ragnarok. This is something I'll admit, I expected like a CGI cutscene here. I did not expect as much as we got. We got way more than I thought. Like, I was expecting like what we got for Spider-Man, because I still don't think God of War is coming out until November. So I was not expecting to see this much of the game. But no, it's a fair bit. We got a fair bit of stuff here. And again, it looks pretty good. I still have not played God of War, 2018's God of War. I need to, and I will one day, but as of this moment, I have not. I haven't, unlike Horizon Dawn, or Horizon Zero Dawn, I actually started that one and then just never finished it. I didn't even start God of War Ragnarok, because I am terrible. When it comes to games, I'm terrible. But yeah, it looks good. I've seen a lot of people, like, there's been this whole thing about, like, Thor, because I guess Thor was teased in the first game. Again, didn't play it. But I guess Thor was teased in that game, and we actually see him in this one, and he's fat, and people, you know, we're so used to the MCU Thor that it's like, hey, does a fat Thor work? And, because technically fat Thor is totally accurate to the mythology, right? Thor is fat in mythology. So, I know there's been some talk about that. I'm personally down. I like it. I like the design so far, and it looks good. I guess Sungwon is voicing Ratatoskr, which is another, which I don't remember seeing in the trailer, but I saw it on Twitter. Ratatoskr is like a squirrel. I think it's a god who lives on Yggdrasil, the world tree, and that's just kind of neat. You know, seeing the rat that lives on the world tree, that's just neat. Gosh dang it, they just come in and then they pick them out. I'm gonna play some more defense. Get that, get that. If I defense hard enough, we might be able to take this. Yep. Okay. But yeah, so God of War Ragnarok looks good. One day I'll play the PS4 version because I own it, and I'll probably really enjoy it. But that day hasn't come yet. Again, I don't think they said 2020, but it looks like it's going to be 2020 or 2022. I mean, and 2022 with everything that's coming out is looking to be one of the biggest years in gaming. Yeah, I mean, just getting potentially a Wolverine game, but God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, those are two big PlayStation contenders. We got a Breath of the Wild 2 for a Nintendo contender, and I know Microsoft has something. I cannot remember what it is off the top of my head, but I can guarantee you Microsoft has something up their sleeve. I don't remember what Microsoft game it is, but I know. Oh, Outer Starfield. Yeah, Starfield. They have Star. Well, that's Bethesda, but it's Microsoft now. Yeah, no, everyone's got something big coming out, and that's not even talking about other publishers or other companies. So next year is going to be one of the biggest years in gaming, period. Hands down, it's going to be huge. And I am more excited than you could imagine. We're gonna take the long way around. Okay, I'm panicking a little bit. And right, oh my god, I was so high up, and in a single thing, I screwed it up and fell all the way down to the bottom. I was at the top. Okay, this guy has it. He's higher up than anyone else. He just has to play his cards right. He's, in some ways, totally already screwed this up. He could still... Okay, this guy is not conserving space as well. Okay, he still won. He was doing a terrible job at conserving spaces. Oh, and hey, put me in front. That's neat. Hey, we won one tonight, because I know we didn't win one last week. We talked about the PlayStation Showcase for an hour. Yeah, I had a lot to say. I think it's a really good showcase. It kind of dulled near the middle, like when you were getting back to like Guardians and Vampire and Deathloop. It was, and yeah, whatever. But other than that, no, it was a pretty solid showcase. I don't know, like a B+, A-. I really liked it. It's what really makes it is that ending. That Spider-Man, God of War, Wolverine really makes it for me. I'd probably say closer to a B+ than I would an A-. But yeah, no, I think it was a pretty solid showcase. I'm not interested in everything, obviously, but there is definitely some stuff I am really interested in. So next up, let's talk legal, shall we? The Apple versus Epic lawsuit had a decision made today. It's kind of complicated because, okay, so I have seen a lot of different takes on this, but the main take, so we've talked about this lawsuit before. I'm not going to give you all the background. You can go find that for yourself. Apple basically, I'll give you 30 seconds. Epic puts a thing in Fortnite where you can go to an external source to buy V-Bucks. Apple gets pissed, takes Fortnite off the App Store. Epic responds intentionally, like this was always the plan. They knew this was going to happen, by suing Apple, claiming that Apple is a monopoly, that they should not be able to do this, and that companies should be allowed to sell they should be able to sell microtransactions and whatnot on their own site. So that way, like, and this goes for everything from like Fortnite V-Bucks to like getting like a Netflix subscription. So like if you wanted to get Netflix, you could do it on the website, then instead have to go through Apple services and pay potentially, I don't know, like 20% more or whatever. That was the whole lawsuit. The lawsuit itself was a fucking shit show. We got a lot of information on like companies from this, and like this is where we find out how like the Epic exclusive deals worked, how Fortnite got cross-play on PlayStation. There was some interesting Nintendo stuff that came out of this because everyone got involved, and it was just a mess all around. But it looks like it came to a decision-ist thing, a permanent injunction or whatever. And there were some. So the big thing, the big thing that Epic wanted was that, hey, if someone puts an app on the App Store, they can then take people to an external website to buy like in-game purchases or whatever subscriptions that doesn't give any money to the App Store. Because right now, if you want that, you got to give money to the App Store. And in an injunction against Apple, third-party applications can use external web portals. So that, like, if you log into Fortnite, you could open an external portal to Fortnite's website, buy V-Bucks, and then they transfer into your game on an Apple device. That was the big thing that Epic wanted, and they got that. So to that end, that one decision, they won. Everything else, they fucking lost. They got their asses kicked. For example, they claimed that the App Store and Apple had a monopoly. They lost that. The judge ruled that Apple does not have a monopoly. The judge did say, and again, you can go look up more information on this, that Apple does violate California law for, it's not California labor law, but it does violate California law, which is part of why they got the decision they did. But no, Apple is not a monopoly. So that's one of the things they lost. Epic has to pay Apple money. Epic has to pay Apple millions of dollars. They might have for some reason the number 13 million is coming to mind. It might not be that. It might be more than that, actually. But Epic does have to pay Apple some money. I know they do. So that was part of this as well. Epic lost money. But the money Epic lost is small potatoes, because in theory, Apple is losing way more. The fact that people can now sell third-party apps, subscriptions third-party without Apple's approval, is going to potentially cost them billions of dollars. Potentially. Again, the gaming industry is a bubble that could pop at any moment. So anything is possible. And again, this goes for other things like Netflix and whatnot. But that's one of the big deals in this. Is that Epic has to pay Apple some money, potentially Apple is losing way more money from potential future sales. And then the other thing that I think I read on Jason Schreier's Twitter, right? Jason Schreier of Bloomberg, he said that while all this happened, part of the lawsuit, Epic does not get to put Fortnite back on the App Store. At least there is nothing in this lawsuit that says that Apple has to reinstate Fortnite's place on the App Store. I'm going to go find that tweet right now. But from what my understanding is, that no, Apple does not have to put Fortnite back on the App Store. Let me see. Where can I find this? So Epic lost on just about every count and will pay millions to Apple, while Apple now has to let apps use external payment processors, potentially costing them billions. Big win for everyone who's rooting for both companies to lose. So yeah, I guess they both lost. I think Apple, that one thing I think means Apple lost more than Epic did. At least 3 major gaming stands currently have headlines up saying that Epic won today, but to be clear, that is not true. Epic lost, but all counts but one, which is the far more significant one. Oh, I didn't realize we were out. Epic wanted the judge to declare Apple a monopoly and force it to lower fees below 30%, neither of which happened. The judge also ruled that Epic violated Apple's terms and did not rule that Fortnite must be reinstated to the App Store. That's a big loss for Epic. So Fortnite is not coming back to Apple. So yes, Epic in many ways did lose this, and Apple lost this in one big way. Hey, Brainless, how you doing? But the whole lawsuit was just a shit show. And this isn't over. Technically, Epic is still suing Google for similar reasons. Because, you know, they put the whole system in the Google Play Store, and they're arguing very similar things. So this lawsuit is not over yet, right? This is going to go on with Apple or with Google, and there probably will be some counter shit at some point, because, you know, something's going to happen. Either you joined late, or I started early for once. Yeah, I started early for once. Because normally I start about this. Summary of everything so far. Yeah, sure. We talked about Sonic Colors and how the remake of Sonic Colors seems to not be very good. We talked about the PlayStation showcase yesterday and how I thought it was pretty solid. Excited for Wolverine and Spider-Man 2, even though they're pretty far away. And then yeah, Epic and Apple lawsuit, which was kind of a mess, and it looks like they both lost, but they lost in very different ways. So yeah. Yeah, it's been a fairly small, even though we talked about the PlayStation showcase for like an hour. It's been a fairly light show tonight. I don't know, post E3 season, the news is always light, and it will continue to be until we get around the holiday season. Even though, to be fair, the past few weeks it has picked up. Oh yeah, we talked about the PlayStation showcase for an hour somehow. I guess I had a lot to say on Tiny Tina's Wonderland. I think I talked about... No, I had a lot to say on Gran Turismo 7. I think we talked about that game for 10 seconds. I have no idea how we talked about that for an hour. Stream is at an hour 37. Yeah. Yep. And then I get... But those were our 3 news stories tonight. I guess that takes us into WIBE. So, I have been playing a video game this week. I actually sat down and played a video game. Or more correctly, I watched a video game. I didn't watch a Let's Play. I played an idle game. Not like idle like I-D-O-L. Idle as I-D-E-L. Idle. And that game is... Cookie Clicker. I played Cookie Clicker way back when it first released many years ago. That's the correct spelling of idle, right? I-D-E-L? Idle? I played Cookie Clicker many years ago when it first came out. And you know, I had a jolly old fun time with it, right? It was Cookie Clicker. It was fun to like have on in the background and whatnot. It's a cute little game. But last week, Cookie Clicker came out on Steam. It officially released on Steam on September 1st. And I was like, you know what? I'll buy it on Steam. Sure, it was like... I think it was maybe $5. It might have even been cheaper than that. And I was like, you know what? I'll pick it up on Steam. And then, fuck, that was all I played. I picked it up on Saturday morning, and I just left the game running all day Saturday, all day Sunday, and then every day when I got back from school. Oh, also all day Monday. I might have actually picked it up Saturday night. But I just left the game on and clicked my cookies. I have put well over 30 hours into it. How much of that is me like actually like sitting and engaging with the game? I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 hours. It might be a little more than that, because you know there are these golden cookies that do like that will like 7. Hey, when you click this golden cookie for a minute, you have a 7 times multiplier. You can click a golden cookie, and for like 20 seconds, you have a 777 times multiplier. And that, oh my, you make billions in seconds. It's madness. But I have not played Cookie Clicker in a long time, and there are so many new, like the sugar lumps thing. I don't. Last time I played it, that wasn't there. all these like weird like mini games, like you can play the cookie stock market. That wasn't there. There's a garden growing mini game where you can like plant wheat and corn and whatnot. That wasn't in the game last I played it. But yeah, I had Cookie Clicker in the running in the background while I watched TV, while I cooked food. Did I say weed? You can have a farm and I said wheat. Even though that you can grow weeds, but in like like dandelions. Yeah, wheat, like Minecraft. But there are like weeds in the game, like they're not called dandelions. I don't remember what they're called. They're like thistles or something like that do like fuck up your garden. But there's like this whole mini game to it. And yeah, Cookie Clicker has just become my addiction. Not that I'm really playing it, mind you, but I'm just like having it on in the background at all times. It took me about a day, give or take, to prestige for the first time. Hey, Rose Pro Fall Guy, how you doing? But yeah, Cookie Clicker, man, it is so addictive. And it's not even that I'm really playing it. It's just addictive to see the numbers go up. And to like do like the math in my head, like, hey, if you get like 10 cookies, or if I'm generating like 100 cookies per second, that means I make 1,000 every 10 seconds, and that means I make 10,000 every like minute and 40 seconds. And I make right, like I'm doing all this math, and then eventually you start generating 10,000 cookies, so you're generating 100,000 every second, and it just keeps going up from there, and then you're hitting millions, and I'm at the point where I'm nearly at 500 million, and I'm just like addicted to seeing the number going up, and it's like I am so glad I have never played like a like an idle game, or like a gacha game, like one of those gacha games, or like an AFK Arena, or a Raid Shadow Legends. I would be so addicted. But Cookie Clicker, as far as I know, has no microtransactions. It just takes 300 hours to beat, and I have done 1/10 of that. When are you gonna get channel points? I'd love to get it all. I'd love to get them all the channel points and all that fun stuff. But nope, one day. Of course, I also have to start streaming more than once a week, which is how I've been going since, March? It's been once a week. If Animal Crossing would ever release an update, I don't know, there's been a lot of rumors recently that we're finally gonna get our big Animal Crossing update later this month. But I don't think it's happening. I don't think it's happening. Until... Really? Huh. That's... The world is a small place. The world is a small place. Oh, see, I was not paying attention to any of this. See, I'm Hispanic, and I just go by Mateo. I don't do Matthew at all. Nope. I don't do Matthew. I don't do Matt either. Nope. Just Mateo. That's good for me. Matt sucks. Yeah. Like, who goes by Matt? Matt Home, Matt Bragg, the guy who works down at the Wendy's nearby. I'm just going to assume. Okay, fine. But what about the Italian version that has 2 T's? So it's Mateo, but with 2 T's. What about that one? I've not been paying it. You know, I'm just relying on my teammates at this point. I have not been paying attention. It's valid. I'm just gonna trust my teammates. Honestly, the first time I heard the version with 2 T's was, I think, a Disney Channel. Like, in one of the Disney Channel, like, original movies, one of the actors was the 2 T's. He almost pushed you off. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, Cookie Clicker. My addiction. And then so you can, like, if you make, like, 1,000,000,000,000 cookies, you can, like, prestige and go to, like, the cookie multiverse. So I prestige for the first time, and then the prestige upgrade did nothing, and I was like, oh, I mean, I think it got me, like, one thing, but it wasn't, like, that big of a deal. And then next time, and then you start a new game, and then you go back into the game, but you restart. So you're starting over with 0 cookies, no buildings, no upgrades, and you have to start over fresh. And I was like, okay, let's start over fresh. Our new goal is, I think it was like 7 or 8 trillion. I hit 7 or 8 trillion like yesterday, and I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to prestige again. I think the next prestige is like 20 trillion. So now I'm just going to wait until I get 20 trillion. Because every time you prestige, you get like a level and you get some like heavenly chips. But you only get 1 heavenly chip per prestige. And at this point, I'm like, is it worth it to like get the heavenly chips per prestige? Or like I think it's one of those games where I clearly just need to look up a strategy. Like, I need to look at a strategy guide and find out, like, what's the best way to, like, maximize cookies? When should I prestige? When do you trigger the Grandma Apocalypse? Because I have no idea at this point. And I don't want to prestige and start over, like, 1,000 times. Like, I did it once, and it worked out fine, but I don't want to keep doing it. The one nice thing is that, like, some of your upgrades stay, like the garden in the stock market. All those upgrades stay. I could see stock market is one of those things where, like, if it works for you, I could easily see you making like trillions of dollars off the stock market. But if it doesn't, it could screw you over big time. I got one big payout on the stock market. I traded vanilla, and then vanilla just went up like $20, and it was like, yep, okay, and that's it. And I think that got me like, I don't know, like 80 billion. But then I'm like, I got lucky once. And that was after like a string of failures. And then you could do magic, and magic has like a chance of backfiring and blowing everything up. Cookie Clicker's a weird game, but it has been my addiction for the past week. Yep. And I think, and I'm just gonna like keep leaving it on in the background for like as long as I need. I'm just eventually I'm gonna make your quadrillions of cookies, which, God, getting 1,000,000,000,000 is a nightmare. Getting a quadrillion, oh, I don't like, I'm not even making 1,000,000,000 per second yet. A quadrillion is like oh my, it's inconceivable amount of money. These are inconceivable amount. Even just 1,000,000,000,000 is an incomprehensible amount of money. And Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk each have 200 trillion each. Eat the rich. Fuck them. Fuck them. But yeah, that's been my addiction, Cookie Clicker. That's the video game. That's the one video game I've been playing, Cookie Clicker. Well, okay, I did actually boot up Animal Crossing for a video that I have yet to release. I actually need to film another one. But yeah, all for videos I just haven't released yet because I'm terrible. And then let's see, what else? Oh, so I talked I don't know, like a few weeks ago, about how I'm a fan of the Marble League, right? Jella's Marble League. And the finale was today. The 16th event. Mar Marbula Cross? It's something like that. I think it's supposed to be motocross, but with marbles. That was today, which determined whoever won determined like the final standings and whoever won. As I said back during week 1 of this season of the Marble League, I was rooting for the Raspberry Racers. The Raspberry Racers had been doing fantastic this season. They weren't always at the top. They fluctuated up and down, but for the most part, they've been doing pretty solid. And going into the finale, they were in first place, ahead by, I want to say, like 12 points. Maybe it might have been 8, but they were like the next lower team was at like 40 something, and they were, or 140, and they were at, the Raspberry Racers were at 150. So I was like, we have this in the bag, right? Going into this last event, it's our game to lose. And legitimately, for most of it, it was our game to lose, because depending on some of the upper ranks, even if we had come in last place on the final event, we would have still gotten gold. And we would have been the number 1 ranked team we would have won the season. Nope. We not only did, well, at the end of the final event, we came in 15th out of 16th. We did barely overtake the Hazers, but the Raspberry Racers did fucking terrible in the final event. Just god awful. And meanwhile, and like for sometimes that was fine, because some of the top ranking teams were also pretty like low point wise, so them winning would still give us the gold. But eventually, Mellow Yellow climbed up the bracket, and Mellow Yellow, I think they came in second or maybe even third, but it was enough to get them the gold. And Mellow Yellow won the 2021 Marble League. We still got silver. Even coming in last place, we still got silver. Second best team in the Marble League this year. But we could have had the gold. And we just blew it. We not only did, I mean, like, technically we got the silver, so, like, how bad? But we just blew it in the final event. I'm so disappointed. I was rooting for you, Raspberry Racers. You're not my team, but I was rooting for you. Meanwhile, my team, Team Galactic, did exactly what they always do. I think in the showdown, they got 4th. Maybe they got 5th, which is, I mean, to be fair, 5th place is Team Galactic's birthright. So them getting 5th place in the showdown does not surprise me at all. But Raspberry Racers, you could have won it. I was rooting for you. You're my backup team, and yeah, I'm still happy. We still got the silver. Look at me. I don't give a fuck about actual sports. Like, I do not care. I don't care about any real life sports whatsoever. But gosh dang it, do I have fun with this Marble League. And then I'm just like sitting there watching it, and I'm like, you know, that's actually a really good play by the Green Ducks this year. Yeah, that's a really solid move. Oh, I'm so glad this team got rid of their coach, or I think it was the Rojo Rollers got rid of their coach. It's like, good riddance. You like treat them like, because the Marble League treats them like they're real people. So you, as an audience member, to play along with the joke and treat them like real people. And I don't know, it's just fun. I know people who do also watch the Marble League. I know a Hazers fan who, I have made the Hazers my arch enemy. Like, they're my Red Sox alright, I'm the New York Yankees, they're the Red Sox. I'm the sports team, they're the Dallas Cowboys. I don't remember what team does the Dallas Cowboys hate? I've never actually seen football. I've never watched a single game of football. That's a lie. That was a joke. So I can't. My first. What game does the Dallas Cowboys and the I don't know. And it's that one-sided relationship thing where it's like the Green Bay Packers hate the Vikings, or no, the Vikings hate the Packers, but the Packers hate like the Chicago Bulls or whatever. Like one hates the other, but the other has like a rival, and like the Chicago Bulls hates the Packers or whatever. Like it's a one-sided rivalry, which is something I only found out about like earlier this year. I had always assumed the two teams hated each other because I knew a Packers fan, and he hated the Vikings. I see sports. All the sports metaphors break down for me here. But yeah, I enjoyed the Marble League, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Next year, Galactic, come on, at least make it into the showcase, because they're my main team. Yep. But it was, I enjoyed rooting for the Raspberry Racers. They did really good, and it's the closest I'll ever get to a winning team. Just glad I ain't no Rangers fan, because they botched it up this year. Like I going into this year, I was like, oh, the Rangers are a big threat, because they were a big threat last year. Nah. The Hazers were a much bigger threat, and that's why, because I know a Hazers fan, I know a Rangers fan, and I know a Green Ducks fan, and Green Ducks are hosting it next year, so they're screwed, because host curse. We hosted it last year, after all. And Galactic, I mean, we got middle of the pack, which, again, is our birthright. So yeah, that's Marble League. I guess the last thing I had to talk about was Rick and Morty Season 5, which I want to pull up an episode list right now. Can I find a Rick and Morty Season 5 episode list? I would really like that. Yeah, okay, let's talk about some of these episodes. So, see, we've talked about some of these in the past, but let's just pretend we haven't. So, Rick and Morty Season 5 has been a very mixed bag. Season 1 is good, right? It's pretty good. Season 2 got a lot better. Season 2 is definitely like when the show comes into its own, when it starts figuring shit out. And Season 2 has just a bunch of really solid episodes in it. Right? Total Rick Call is the big one I think of. Like, that's potentially the show's best episode. Of course, my favorite is the Season 3 premiere, which I don't remember the name of off the top of my head. The one with the Szechuan sauce. That's my favorite episode in the show. Still love it to death all these years later. So Season 3 started off really strong. Then it was kind of a bunch of episodes. But then, like, halfway through, I think around the time they turned into Toxins, Season 3 started to get good, and then you got the Reclantis mix-up, and I think Season 3 ends with the President episode, which I know some people really don't like, but personally, I always I like the President episode. I think it's good. So I think Season 3 was pretty strong as well. Season 4 is kind of when the show starts to be a mixed bag. The premiere is the Death Crystals one, which I did not care about at all. I mean, it's got one or two good jokes in it. Old Man in the Seat's pretty decent, if I remember correctly. What's the side plot in that? I don't remember. The heist one is pretty interesting. Like, that's a fucking Dan. I know Dan Harmon doesn't do his podcast anymore, but that's like the episodic personification of the Harmontown podcast. Like, that's one of his spiels put up into an episode. The dragon one was just weird. Like, the slut dragons, that's just a weird fucking episode. Rattlestar... The snake one was pretty good, actually. I liked the snake one, it was fine. Episode 6, which is where they are on the train, and that's basically their, interdimensional cable episode for that season, is, like, it's a very meta episode, and I can see why people wouldn't like it for that, but I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that one. Never Rick and Morty. Gonna fight against... Oh, that's the facehugger ones. I don't care for that one. Vat of Acid episode has, like, the one joke where he, like, falls in love with the girl and then time resets. That's good. Other than that, I do not give a shit about that episode. Childrick of Mort sucks. And the Star Wars one where you find out about the clone Beth is pretty solid. Pretty solid episode all around. So I think Season 4, just from reading back over the episode titles again, I think is a very mixed bag. There are some really good episodes in there. Some episodes that I genuinely really enjoy. But there are some episodes I just do not care about at all. Season 5 is in a kind of a similar boat. Season 4 mentions the pandemic, right? I think the episode 6 mentions the pandemic. Like, I think we were in the pandemic when that episode came out. Because I think one of the last lines Rick says is how about, like, nobody's buying anything because of the pandemic. Yeah, that sounds right in my head. But so Season 5 started off very strong. The one with Mr. Nimbus is really good. I like the main plot. I like Mr. Nimbus's dynamic. I like the dynamic with the whole... So the first episode gives us the big theme of the season. That is, not every episode, but a fair bit of episodes in the season deal with relationships and breakups. And this first episode deals with that. It introduces the theme, which carries through the rest of the season with Mr. Nimbus and Rick and how they're fighting, and that's relationship-esque, but also Morty and Jessica, right? Morty's been going after Jessica, and in this episode it all falls apart. And this is where we get the whole alternate dimension where time flows differently. And the alternate dimension where time flows differently is just great. And, like, their use of the alternate dimension where time flows differently is just so much fun. And, like, when, like, shit starts to go crazy, it's like, oh, this is... Yeah, no. Like, when all of a sudden they're robots and everything, and Jessica gets kidnapped, and it's like, this is crazy. Everything has gone wrong. And he was just trying to have a simple night with wine. It's a really good episode. Then we get Mortiplicity, which was... Oh, this was the Decoy Family one. Do not give a shit. Like, some of it's interesting, but it's... Oh my... I just... Like, I get what they were going for. Like, hey, what if we have infinite clones upon infinite clones, but they're decoy families? And it just keeps building until you get the big battle royale, and then you find out none of it matters, because of course none of it matters. And it's just like, it's technically not a bad episode. It's just kind of a mess. And, like, it really just, like, I don't want to use the word filler, especially in, like, an episodic adventure show like this. But if I had to say, like, hey, this is a filler episode, goddamn does this feel like one. Then, after that, we got, the Planet Tina episode. Now, when I first saw the Planet Tina episode, I was like, this is whatever, this is okay. But I couldn't stop thinking about the episode. I kept, like, thinking about it and, like, what the episode does and how it's executed. And I was just like, this is a really good episode. Like, yeah, holy... Like, I don't even think, like, it's that good. It's just... Because, like, the Summer Rick stuff about them going off into, like, an alternate... Like, to, like, the orgy parties at the end of the world... I don't give a shit about any of that. Like, it proves the point of the episode, because there's that famous time where Rick said that, like, hey, love doesn't matter, and that's kind of his arc for, like, a good chunk of the first few seasons, because, you know, he breaks up Jerry and Beth, but part of the season is proving that, no, relationships actually matter a lot to Rick, because this is another breakup episode, because Morty, in a love of passion and flames, is dating Planetina, and then he has to break up with her because his hope was that she's different than Rick, and then she becomes like Rick, and now Morty can't be with her anymore, and it's just really fucking good. Like it doesn't haunt my dreams, but like there's that meme about like when like someone says something and it's like, oh, I live in your head rent free, right? It's kind of pretentious. That's this episode. The Planetina episode lives in my head rent free per se. Then we got the next episode, Rick Dependence Spray. The president's back. Again, I don't hate the president. I know some people do. I personally have no problem with him. I think he's fine. But this is the episode where Morty jerks off into the horse thing, and then it creates the sentient sperm, and then they have to deal with the horse people, and hey, half Rick, half horse baby thing, and giant space incest baby. And this episode is the worst episode in the show. Not even gonna cut corners here. It's the worst episode in the show. Period. Like, there are some episodes I just don't give a shit about or that are forgettable, including the next one, the one with the Hell Demons where Jerry is their entertainment. Do not give a fuck about that episode. It's boring at best. But this one... Oh, we're out. This one is just terrible. Just the premise of like, hey, we have these giant living sperms, and there's horse people, and I know the horse people are the joke, but it's just terrible. And then the giant incest baby, and I see this is like, there's the Thanksgiving episode. I think the president works great, but this episode, nope. I'm sick of everything in this episode. The episode is terrible. Easily the worst in the show. And like, even a few episodes later, they'll poke fun at it about how, hey, this episode is the worst episode because they bring back the giant space incest baby. And admittedly, the giant space incest baby isn't bad in that episode, but like, they know that, hey, they made a terrible episode. And they bring it up as if it's like supposed to be like, oh, well, we know we made a terrible episode. But that doesn't excuse the fact that they made a terrible fucking episode. Seriously, it's the worst in the show. I wouldn't know what else to put, like, what other episodes rank really low off the top of my head. ABCs of Beth, maybe. I don't know, that's got like one or two good moments, though. This one just all around terrible. Then we had the one with the Jerry and the Hell Portal, and they take that kid out into space, and like, the kid out in space with the car, and like, the Transmorphers thing is kind of funny, and like, they try to get the car laid, but that kid is such an asshole, and I don't care for it. The whole Rick thing, like, yeah, you get some interesting designs, and I like how Rick eventually turns pain into pain. That's fun. But I just think the episode all around, it's forgettable at best. Then you have the Thanksgiving episode, which I do actually kind of like. I know I talked to a few, maybe even last week, about the song sung by the guy who did the Pokemon theme song about turning into a turkey. And it's just because there aren't that many Thanksgiving episodes. Like, mostly when it comes to like holiday specials, everyone does a Christmas special. Rick and Morty did a Christmas special. Remember their Jurassic Park parody back in season 1? Yeah, no, they did a Christmas special, and then here they're doing a Thanksgiving special where Rick turns himself into a turkey. Haha, Turkey Rick. And then they have to fight the president, and then the president gets exchanged for a turkey. And then there's giant turkey armies, and hey, guess what? The Pilgrims and the Native Americans were actually aliens, and Washington Memorial spaceship monster thing, and Morty keeps blowing up things, and hey, the Statue of Liberty is actually a secret French assassin robot thing. And that's just a minor point in the episode that barely gets talked about. And it's just all around a really solid episode. Nothing amazingly outstanding or anything, but it's just an all-around solid episode that I enjoy. And God, why does it fucking remind me of the South Park Thanksgiving special? Where, you know, they parody the movie Thor and Ancient Aliens. Yeah, that happened. But yeah, no, I think the Thanksgiving special is pretty solid. Then you have the Voltron one, which is about them combining Voltrons into Voltrons, and they become the Mafia and get other Ricks involved. And again, it's a pretty solid episode. I like that Planetina one, but I'd probably aside from that, this is probably, so as they were releasing, I would say like this is the second best one. Like just an all around, like the Gotron ferrets are fun. Them going out to fight giant space monsters, and then the twist that they're trying to give the cure for AIDS. That's pretty good. It's just a fun episode. It's not... Yeah, no, it's just an all-around fun episode that I enjoy. And yeah, they keep bringing up that, hey, they created the Space Incest Baby, and the Space Incest Baby shows up at the end. But I still think it's a solid episode. Yeah, no, I enjoy it. It's nothing too complicated. Like, there's no, like, big deconstruction like the heist episode in Season 4. Where it's like, hey, guess what? All heist movies kind of suck because Dan Harmon or one of the writers hates heist movies. No, like, this isn't like a, hey, we hate Voltron or whatever. No, they're just, Voltron's kind of cool and they're just having fun with it. Well, I can enjoy that. Then we have the Bird Person episode. And the Bird Person episode is also really good. Rick Turnell Friendshine of the Spotless Mort. A really good episode. The whole going through Bird Person's mind is really well done. The fact that Rick, again, there's that whole theme of breakups and whatnot throughout these episodes, and finding out that Rick loved Bird Person. And I mean like loved. Not like loved as a friend, but like romantic love. And like he would do anything for him, but Bird Person didn't feel the same way. And that's part of why he's so jaded about relationships and everything. Is so fucking good. Them saving Bird Person's mind. It's just an all around. And Rick teaming up with like a younger version of himself who's like less jaded. It's just an all around solid episode. It does start to get us into Rick's backstory, which we'll talk about when we get to the finale. And the complications there, kind of. But, yeah, no, just a great episode. Then we have, so the season finale was 2 parts. The first part was the 2 crows. Basically, Rick replaces Morty with 2 crows and then realizes that 2 crows are really cool. And the episode's not, it's... Again, it's also a breakup episode because Rick breaks up with Morty and then Morty gets Nick, I think his name was. For some reason I want to say Kyle. Because I know they do reference Kyle. Like Mr. Nimbus calls Morty Kyle. And on the wheel of Morty replacements there's a Kyle. So like Rick definitely had an old partner called Kyle. But yeah, Nick, and like that's Rick's or Morty's rebound relationship that ends with him killing Nick after Nick turns out to be a psychopath. And then meanwhile Rick deals with 2 crows and they become friends and he goes to Crow World and then the crows try to take over and Bird Quaaludes, which was pretty funny. But yeah, no, I don't care. It's fine. Like it's definitely not the worst episode. In theory, I like the ending that, like, Rick breaks up with like, he realizes because of the crows that his and Morty's relationship was abusive, so he decides to break up with Morty. And he goes off on his separate adventure with 2 crows, while Morty stays behind and does whatever Morty does. This would have been a solid enough season finale. It would, I mean, I don't think it would be like hailed as like anything amazing. It definitely would have been treated more like the season 3 finale with the president. But I think it's a solid enough finale. All things considered, like it could have been far worse, honestly. And then that gets us to the final episode, Rick Morai Jack? It's a Samurai Jack thing. It's interesting because, like, you start off with, like, Rick, who's, like, now, like, a crow assassin. He's, like, hunting owl people or whatever. And then you get, like, an anime opening. Like, there's an entire anime parody to start off this episode, and it's like, oh, okay, I guess. Sure, if that's what you're going for, show. And then, but, of course, that the whole Two Crows thing and them getting apart is just the setup to the episode, because Morty ages himself up to, like, 40, and that eventually the Two Crows leave Rick, which, I mean, like, it's a solid enough joke, like the startup of, like, the crow scare, who's the villain. Like, that's kind of funny. And then, oh my, when it's like, oh no, the crow scare and the Two Crows are like, no, we're passionate lovers. That got a good laugh out of me. But that takes them to the Citadel of Rick's, this is the thing that people have been foaming at the mouth about. Hey, what's the big secret behind Evil Morty? What's going on with that? What's Rick's backstory? Hey, well, and to be fair, we have gotten elements of this before, but this is the episode that reveals it all. We find out that Evil Morty's plan, him whole reshaping the Citadel, is just to break the central finite curve, which, like, I think the central finite curve is literally brought up in season 1. Like, in the season 1 episode where Rick gets accused of killing all the other Ricks, because, you know, evil Rick, that's literally the first time they bring up the central finite curve. So, like, some of these episodes, or some of these elements have 100% been thought out. I think also the Simple Ricks, you know, with the cookie wafers, I think that also references this, and the Ricklantis mix-up mentions the central finite curve. Like, there were definitely some things that were totally thought out here. And then, yeah, Evil Morty's plan is to break the central finite curve. He kills all the other Ricks and Mortys in the Citadel. Like, he messes with their portal guns. He destroys Project Phoenix to, like, fuel his blood machine at the end. And it's just horrifying as, like, Rick and Morty go through the bowels. And then we get Rick's backstory. So, in the season 3 premiere, the episode I love so much, right, we see Rick's backstory that, hey, he's about to discover portal fluid. Then another Rick comes in and is like, oh, you find out you're not the first one to discover it. And then he says, like, no, I'm not going to do that. And then the other Rick kills Diane and Beth. And, like, in the moment, they present that, like, Rick says, like, oh, well, this is a completely fictional backstory. But then a few episodes ago, we found out that, no, that's not a fictional backstory. That did happen. In this episode, in this moment, is like, yep, we're going to confirm that, yep, young Beth and Diane died. God, you know, God, I'm so fucking bad with Oops. Take it back. Oh, you could take it back. I'm so bad with all these names and all these shows, and yet I remember Diane, who I don't even know, who's maybe had her name said once in the entire fucking show. I am terrible. But yeah, so we find out that backstory is true. Rick then went on a crusade to, like, find the Rick that killed Beth and Diane and try to kill them, and he was never able to. That he learned that, hey, Ricks were organizing, and they were organizing to kill him. So after killing a bunch of them, he eventually worked with other Ricks to create the Citadel. And I think it works in multiple ways. That on one hand, he creates the Citadel in order to, like, organize all the Ricks and stop killing all the other Ricks. But on the other hand, he creates the Citadel so that way he can try to track like, to see, like, one last chance to find the Rick that killed Beth and Diane, and he was never able to. Like, he clearly never wanted to be part of the Citadel, but it was just like a way to get the other Ricks off his back and maybe, you know, achieve his goal, and it didn't work. So that's Rick's jaded backstory. And it's, again, part of that is what we knew, and some of that's been fed throughout these, like, the few previous episodes. There were hints at this, the Returnal Sunshine thing. That episode in the Citadel of Rick's episode in season 1 is, like, they say, like, oh, out of everyone to kill Ricks, you make the most sense. And now we know why, because he's killed so many Ricks in the past. So yeah, this is a solid explanation of Rick's backstory. It's all revenge for his dead wife. Of course, how is Beth still alive? Is it now that Rick is basically living in a different timeline? One where Diane died for other reasons, and one where Beth never died? Like, is he just in, like, a different timeline? Maybe. Maybe. I mean, it's totally possible. I don't know. They don't really explain the Beth thing. Like, how can she die? And I'm just assuming he's in a different world. This does also fix another problem. So, in Rick Potion number 9, Rick says that, like, hey, when we fuck up the world so bad we have to go to a new one and replace ourselves, you only get, like, 2 or 3 of those tops. That's what Rick says. Like, oh, we can only do this, like, 2 or 3 times. And I think they do it again when Morty learns that squirrels control the government. So, that, like, at the time, it's like, oh, well, you can only do this 2 or 3 times. And I was like, that makes no sense. It's an infinite multiverse. That means you could do this infinite number of times. But now that we know what the central finite curve is, no, you can only do it so many times, because you can only do it at moments that fall along the central finite curve. Because the central finite curve is basically the Rick... Like, we just did Loki a few weeks ago. And in Loki, right, Immortus kills off all the other timelines and creates the TVA to preserve his one timeline. And that's kind of like what the central finite curve is, but on a larger scale. The Ricks banded together to find a series of timelines where they're the smartest, and then just preserve all of those timelines on the central finite curve. And Evil Morty wants to break the central finite... I do not know if he wants to destroy it. I know he wants to break it, but based on, like, the final clip, one of the final scenes in the episode, I think he wants to destroy the central finite curve as well. Like, that's what I'm taking from this. But yeah, no, that actually explains, like, now that we know what the central finite curve is, that actually explains a fair bit of things. So, I think, yeah, no, this central finite curve thing is a pretty solid explanation for everything that's happened up until this point. But that takes it there. So after Morty learns Rick's backstory and dead wife, which I was meaning to get at, I don't remember where I heard this, but at some point, Dan Harmon said that when you, like, take a character who has no backstory and explain the backstory, that's when the character falls apart. Like, revealing the secret is what ruins everything. I'm 90% sure Dan Harmon said that, probably in his podcast, but I don't remember where. But it was something, he was talking about, like, another show as well. Like, he wasn't talking about Rick and Morty, he was talking about something else, and he was like, when you explain the backstory, it all of a sudden just ruins everything. Like, we know the backstory, we know the character's motivations, now everything's ruined. It's either that, or I'm thinking of fucking H. Bomber guy explaining Jekyll, which is totally possible. I mean, my memory's a fucking mess. So, either way, but so that does because Rick tries to be, like, all nonchalant, like, hey, guess what? Dead wife, motivation, let's move on. So part of me is like, they knew, as, like, a show, they have to explain the backstory. Like, at some point, you have to address that. Again, technically, they gave it away in Season 3 that it's all dead wife. But they play it off as, like, a joke. And part of me is wondering if Dan Harmon said that around the time of Season 3 when he was talking about that episode. And, like, hey, the second, like, we gave Rick this fake backstory because, explaining the real one would destroy the show. And now that fake backstory is the real backstory. Of course, it's a little different. Like in this one, after the bomb kills Beth and Diane, he gets treated by an ambulance, and he lives alone at home, wallowing in depression for a while. So it's not like because in the Season 3 premiere, he just, like, gets angry and creates the portal gun to, like, chase after him. Not how it works here. So, yeah. And then, yeah, it ends. Evil Morty explains that, hey, once you realize Rick's bullshit, you become Evil Morty. He phrased it better than that, because... But yeah, that's basically the gist of things, is that, hey, our Morty is also Evil Morty. Because there's been that whole thing forever now, that this show ends with with Morty killing Rick. Like, that's the only way this show ends, and yeah, makes sense. But then Evil Morty, who I'm just calling Evil Morty for the sake of like splitting him up from our Morty, is like, no, I'm gonna go break the central finite curve. Come with me. Of course, it's more of a symbolic gesture than anything else. Morty doesn't take it, stays behind with Rick, and we get the Evil Morty song as Rick and Morty escape the Citadel. They like cut off one of the pieces and jet away with it. Of course, portals don't work anymore, and they're in the middle of space, so who fucking knows anymore? And then Evil Morty is able to, he creates a portal. They almost get sucked into a black hole, but he's able to break the central finite curve. We see the central like he has like a projection of it, and it just like disintegrates. So that's what makes me think that like the central finite curve no longer exists, and now like the true multiverse has been awakened. If I had to guess, that's what's going on. Is that now that Evil Morty has broken the central finite curve, not only does the Citadel no longer exist, but like the infinite multiverse has now been restored, basically. If I had to guess, that's what makes the most sense. Again, kind of like Loki. And that's where the episode ends. And yeah. Oh, and then we get this Mr. Poopy Butthole segment at the end, because, you know, all seasons now need to end with that. And it's fucking depressing. Like, why wouldn't it be, of course? And yeah, that's the end of season 5. And it's kind of a mixed season. Honestly, looking back at it now, sitting it out and like discussing it all, talking about it to you, I realize it's better than I first thought. Like, yes, it has the worst episode in the show. It has some sort of underwhelming episodes, but it does have some really solid ones. This final episode's pretty good. I really enjoy that Planet Tina one. The Crow one isn't... Oh, you fucked me. The Crow one isn't terrible. I will say the Crow one... Yeah, the Crow one is fine. It's not amazing, but it's fine. The Thanksgiving one I enjoyed. So yeah, I guess at the end of the day, I would say that season... Season 5 is mixed, but not as mixed as Season 4. Like, I do definitely think there are some genuinely good, solid episodes in here. I think there are some bad episodes in here. That's for sure. It's got the worst episode in the season. The Immorticant, the one with the Hellraisers is pretty whatever. Pretty bad. The one with the duplicates is bad. I don't think the premiere was okay. The premiere was good. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm more talking it over. I'm more positive than I was just thinking about it. Cause like in my head going into talking about it tonight, I was like, there are like 4 good episodes and the rest sucks. No, there are more than 4 good episodes. There are some pretty solid ones in here. I just honestly it's just that having the worst episode in the show really does affect my perception of the season. Like there's a thing in music where a good song can make an album. A great song can kill an album. And that's kind of what I'm thinking about here. Like, a good episode can make a season. That's why I think so highly of season 3. Let me backtrack. I'm thinking about it in reverse. A bad episode doesn't ruin a season. ABC's a Beth. I don't think it's that good of an episode. Doesn't ruin season 3 for me. but a terrible episode can ruin a season. And that's the sperm one. I don't, does it ruin the entire season? No. Does my metaphor hold up? Not at all. But I don't, it does bog things down a little bit. It does. And I'd be lying if I didn't. And some of the other meh-ish to even just, like, not amazing episodes does bog the season down. But having, like, 4 really solid ones and some, again, pretty decent ones does help. So yeah, I guess I am actually kind of positive on Season 5. Like, it's not... I guess it could have been worse. Really. I mean, it's got the worst episode in the show, but it could have been worse. I have for sure seen worse episodes in other shows. I mean, like, Rick and Morty still is solid at the end of the day. It's just not as solid. I mean, and it was never perfect to begin with. Again, I like Season 1, but it's got some big flaws. Season 2 also has some whatever episodes, as does Season 3. No show is perfect. And I guess that takes us to the outro. God, again, we had 4 topics today, 3 more, so 7 including a WIBE. And we talked for 2.5 hours. Why do I talk so much? Fuck. What did I even talk about for PlayStation for an hour? Fuck. God, I need a co-host. Someone to keep me in line. Tell me to shut the fuck up. So, outro? So I talked earlier how I booted up Animal Crossing. I actually filmed 3 episodes of What If or the first 4 episodes of the What If reviews in Animal Crossing. I filmed them on like Monday. And it's now... Oh, I was jumping and it wasn't working. I filmed them on like Monday, maybe Tuesday actually. And I just haven't got around to editing any of them. And they're a lot short. They're not too much shorter, but they're shorter for sure. I think one episode is 8 minutes. I think the longest one was 20 minutes. Oh, I actually grabbed a crown for... That's the first time I have grabbed that crown in probably 6 months. Maybe even longer. It could have been 8. Maybe even 10. It's been a long time since I grabbed that crown. Were they on PC? No, with the numbers, I think they'd have to be PlayStation. I talked a few weeks ago how I was able to crossplay with PC. We won 2 squad shows. Wow. Hey, we're ending off on a win. I'll take it. I will take it. And I just gotta win 1 more squad show, I guess. Actually, I haven't even checked the King Louis stuff. I wonder where we are in that. How long do we have left? Oh, 2 days. Earn at least a gold medal in a race round. We did that. We got a gold medal in a race round. That happened. Let's see. So we need to win 1 more squad show and reach the final round in Welcome to the Jungle 3 more times. That might actually be possible, but again, the event ends in 2 days, and I don't plan on playing the game again for another 7. I actually kind of... Okay, here's something for the outro. I kind of actually want to take a break from Fall Guys. I don't know how many episodes of Fall Guys we've done in a row now. Like, I probably since the Season 5 premiere, and we are getting like, within the next 2 streams, we will have probably by next stream, we will have finished the season. Like, realistically, that's a thing that will probably happen. I'm trying to look up how many episodes of Fall Guys we've done for this. Just recently. let's see, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes have been in Fall Guys, not including today. So this is 8. And I mean, I might play again tomorrow. So I might unlock get level 50 by the next time we stream. I might not also, I don't know. Cuz that's really close. That's actually super close. I could probably do that in like 2 hours. And I have an audiobook I have to listen to, so I might. I don't know, I'll think about it. For sure. Cuz again, I don't actually give that I don't know. I guess the dance thing would be neat to get. But yeah, I kind of think that I want to take a break from Fall Guys. But what else are we going to play? Like, seriously, what other game are we going to play for in chat? The Switch isn't really working all that. I mean, we've done it several times, actually. Switch doesn't work all that well. Switch, I mean, it works, and I have a new Switch coming in literally a month. It's less than that now, because, again, it's September 10th. September 11th, almost. And the new Switch comes on the 8th. So it's about a month away. But it's like, what else do we play until then? Do we boot up City Skylines? Because that's a game I've been wanting to play recently. Do we do 2 hours sitting in Cookie Clicker? Could this computer even run fucking Cookie Clicker? Or would it just be a laggy shit show? I don't know. I don't think Cookie Clicker is that demanding of a game, but God, would that be a funny one? It might be. What else are we fucking doing? I don't know. I'll think about it. We probably will do Fall Guys again next week. But then after that, I think I'm going to take a break from Fall Guys for a little bit. Just try to do something else, maybe. Just try, Take a break. I'll figure it out when I get there. Yeah, we went for so fucking long tonight. I don't know how we did that, because we spent an hour on the PlayStation showcase and an hour on WIBE. Oh, while I have a bunch of what if videos that I haven't put out yet, I also have I put up the stream highlights for Harley Quinn last week. I only cut out like 15 minutes, so it's not that much. But it's like a 45-minute video, because I think we talked about Harley Quinn for an hour last week. I put those up. Yeah, they did my normal numbers. Like, for some reason, that Centaur World review did really well. And I'm considering, like, do I highlight the Rick and Morty we talked about tonight? Was it even any good? I don't know. I'll think about it. I guess I'm just doing anything to not do fucking what if. Which is weird, because I don't even think the episodes are that bad. And because the recordings are so short, they're not that long to edit. Again, it's like 8 at the shortest, 20 at the longest. And I still have to do the zombie one, which I'm thinking about right now. But I think that's where we're going to end off. So, I hope you all enjoyed. Stay tuned for more. Until next time, peace.